Hello, my name is Alan. I want to tell you a story about my eyes. I have the rarest eyes in the world, and it made me uncomfortable at first until fate bumped me into someone. It changed my life. I was born blind. My mother told me that they didn't notice it right away, only a couple of months later, when my older brother was playing with a flashlight and shining it directly into my eyes, and I wasn't responding to the bright light. My mum scolded him at first, and then she came over and started shining the light in my eyes herself. She called my father, who also looked at me for a long time. Then they took me to the doctor. She made a disappointing diagnosis, which meant that I was born blind and would live my whole life that way. My mother grieved for a long time, blamed herself. Only my brother said that I was not blind, but just special. And yes, he was right. I wasn't just blind. That turned out to be my thing. When I turned 7, I went over to my dad's construction site with my mum. She was supposed to bring him lunch. While they were chatting, my parents got distracted, and I noticed flickering lights in my side vision. It was the first thing I had ever seen in my life. Of course, I was attracted to it. All this time I had no idea what it meant to be blind. It even seemed to me that all people could see like me, darkness and nothing else. And then there were the bright lights. I followed them. They were taller than me, and I followed them purely intuitively. I walked for a long time. A couple of times I almost fell over, tripped over something. The lights were closer and closer, brighter and clearer. They were like flashes, so beautiful and mesmerizing. And then I heard someone talking to me, a man's voice of some kind. "Oh my God, whose baby is that? Whose baby?" I didn't understand who he was talking about, but then I guessed when I heard my mother screaming. She was screaming my name, telling me not to move. Then someone took me by the hand and my father came over. It turned out that I had climbed up the construction site, and that unfamiliar male voice was my father's colleague. He was welding something upstairs. I have no idea how I didn't fall, and why I saw those bright lights so clearly. I told my parents about it, and they decided to show me to the doctor. They got their hopes up, and the doctor said that maybe it was just my imagination, since my eyes can't see anything and never will again. Mum was in tears again, and I told her, "Mum, why are you getting upset? I don't know what it looks like anyway, so I'm not sorry." "Exactly, you've never even seen my face, what the sun and the sky look like. But I can make it up. When you read books to me, everything makes sense to me. I wish I could give you my eyes." "You shouldn't do that. It would be harder for you than for me." And then I went to a special school where they taught me to read and use special apps. It made my life easier. I became more literate and knowledgeable. And I also met guys like me there, but most of us were those who had lost their sight during their lives. I felt sorry for them, and they felt sorry for me. I argued that it was better like me, to see nothing at all so I wouldn't regret it. And they said it was better to see and remember than not know once. We could argue like that for hours. And then one day, the whole school took us to the cultural centre. Guys from other schools had prepared songs and poems for us. They wanted to give us for Disability Day. Well, that is on Disability Day, so to speak. It was very nice. During the concert, I went to the bathroom and saw the bright light again. I went to it. It just beckoned. I was walking and walking, and then all of a sudden I was grabbed and shoved into something. I realised it was a car. Of course, I was frightened. I screamed. "Who are you? What do you want? Let me go." "Don't worry, it's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. I need your help." "Help with what?" "We can help each other. I'll give you sight, and you do me a favour." "What? Sight? Do you take me for a fool? The doctors themselves told me I can't get it back." "I know your diagnosis. I work in that hospital. I know your doctor. His name is Frankie. He's a dumbass. I suggested to him many times to do your surgery, but he said it was too much of a risk. He's just a chicken." "Risk for what?" "Who cares? It's not going to make you any worse, right?" "What's in return?" "I'm going to ask you to do something. It's no big deal." "That doesn't make any sense." "I'm offering once. If you still want not to see your family, beautiful girls around, not to live a normal life, not even see yourself, then we can say goodbye." "How do you know my eyes respond to light?" "I told you, I know everything. I treated you. I just didn't have the authority to treat." And I said yes. I was immediately brought somewhere. The voice said we were in his clinic. I was changed. The voice promised that I would wake up a different person. How he was right. I slowly opened my eyes after a hard and long sleep. My eyelids were heavy, but I opened them, and I saw I saw lamps all around me, images of people's silhouettes. I saw furniture. My heart almost jumped out of joy.
Wait, don't rush, don't get up. Is everything okay?
I see you, Only I can't see your head, but I can see you.
I'm fine, I'll give you something to drink.
When I came out of the anesthesia, they told me to do our deal right away. I had to go to my doctor who treated me and give him a bag with something.
Just don't show what you can see. Act like you used to, okay? Your vision will improve every minute.
Okay. I did as I was told. The doctor greeted me from the office.
Did you bring something? What is it?
I was told to give it to you, that's all. The doctor read the note in the bag and his hand shook. And then he took out of the bag pictures of this doctor taking bribes from patients. He got up from his chair and started yelling at me.
Where did you get this? Who gave it to you?
I don't know, I'm blind.
Why did you agree to this?
Because they promised me $5 for it. What's in the bag? Anything unpleasant for you?
No, it's fine.
He went to the safe in the office, dialed the code and opened the door. There were wads and wads of money. He counted out a few thousand and stuffed it in this bag, took his pictures and sent me back. I gave it to my doctor, who was happy. And at night, it turned out that he broke into his office and stole all the money from the safe. I memorized the code. That was the plan.
You'll be above suspicion because he thinks you're blind.
What do you mean I will? It's a one-time service, right?
I forgot to tell you something.
What?
The medicine I administered to you is effective, but it's short-lived.
Does that mean I have to work off my medicine every time? That was your cunning plan?
It's genius, isn't it? I told you. I help you, you help me.
What? You can't give me vision for life?
Sorry, kid. I haven't come up with that prescription yet.
And you won't, will you? Because it benefits you. Fuck you. By the time I reached home, the lights, the figures began to fade. They finally disappeared when I walked in. The medication had worn off. I was blind again. When we started dinner, a doctor who had been robbed burst into our house. He asked where I was and began to check my eyes without question or explanation. My mother and father were very indignant, screaming for him to let go of me, and he yelled like a crazy person that I had memorized the codes to the safe.
Are you out of your mind? He's blind.
The doctor looked me over and his face became puzzled.
Oh, sorry, you really are blind. But how come? You weren't wearing any cameras, otherwise the sensor in my office would have worked. But how? How?
I'm calling the police.
That's it, I'm leaving. I'm sorry, I'm not myself today.
And he ran away. I lived blind for 3 more days, and then I realized I wanted to see the city again. Its colors, people's faces, food, and more. I didn't even get to see my parents' faces yet. I had no choice. I came to Mr. Voice again. That's what I called him. I didn't even know his name. That's how we worked from then on. He gave me 2 days vision, and I did the dirty business for him with the people on his list. That's how he profited. I fell into codependent slavery, and I couldn't do anything about it. Or rather, I can't. Well, while I was telling you this, the drug was expiring. So I went. What? Judge me? What would you do if you were me?
Hi everyone, I'm Gloria, and I have a special gift that I want to share with you now. You'll probably think I'm superhuman, and it will be partly true, because my eyes are not quite normal. The thing is, I've been blind since birth, but I can see more than the sighted. In short, about everything in order, I'll start the story for now, and don't forget to like my story, subscribe to the channel, and write your opinion in the comments. I will be grateful. Well, let's go. As I said, I was born a blind girl. No one knows why this happened. My mother and father are healthy. My mother obediently showed up to the doctor every month, passed tests and so on. They were very much waiting for me because I am their only child and welcomed. However, my parents were already aged. When I was born, my mother was already 46 years old. It was risky to have children at that age, but what could she do if she and father had only found each other then? My mother told me that when I was born, everything was normal. For the first 2 days, I slept and hardly woke up, and then the doctor noticed that I reacted strangely to light, in any way. All my other reflexes worked, but my eyes didn't. I was checked by doctors all over the department, and my mother was already worried because nothing had been explained to her yet. And when it became clear after the results of tests and a consultation of doctors, they came to my mother's room and said that her child was blind. This was a blow to my elderly parents. They were confused and had no idea what to do now. Time passed, and soon they accepted it. They were taught how to take care of their blind daughter, set up the house, and made everything comfortable for me. And then I was 1 year old, and my mother began to notice some strange things. I watched my mother, how she went from room to room, how she came to me. I screamed and cried when I saw her leave the room where I was sitting. At first, she thought I could hear her footsteps, but then she and Dad started experimenting. They walked on tiptoe and noticed that I still seemed to notice them with my eyes. And when my dad brought home my first toy and handed it to me, and then moved it to another corner and I went to it, they realized that I could still see. It was incredible, because in the hospital, all the doctors unanimously assured them that I was blind, that my eyes were not responding. But at the same time, I looked at the doctors, saw their faces. I saw a window, a door, and I went there. I really liked the sunlight, and my eyes longed to look at the sun. My gift became a sensation in the medical field. Many doctors invited me to their homes for free, just to study, look, feel. At first, my parents were willing to drive here and there, but then they got tired, just like me. Then I learned how to talk, and I asked my mom and dad to give it up and let me stay at home. Around the age of 4 to 5, people around me got used to me. My mom and dad bought me special sunglasses so people wouldn't notice my eyes, so no one would ever guess I was blind. But I don't see everything. Some details remain invisible. I saw more silhouettes, energy, and sometimes colors. I also had something that scared my mother. It was only as I got older that I realized what my pictures meant. The fact is that each person had their own color, and it burned next to their heart. Well, how can I explain it to you? It's a kind of soul. Each had its own color. For example, if it was dark, then the person is old, and he will soon die or he is very ill. If it is yellow or orange, it means that everything is fine with it and it is young. Rather, it is a child or a teenager. This way, I could see through almost everyone, including myself. My mother and father were at first afraid of this discovery, but then they also got used to it and kept it a secret from others. This gift helped me in society. When meeting people, I also felt who was good and who was bad, and I tried to avoid the latter and also protected my parents from them. I even went to a school for the blind. By the way, I was not at all embarrassed by the status of a person with disabilities, because I am no worse than others, and as my mother says, on the contrary, I am special. Since then, many years have passed, and I have learned to live with my gift among others. I've communicated, met people, and everything is fine. My mother made me promise that I would never reveal my secret so that there would be no problems, and I agreed with her. Well, once my friends and I went for a walk. It was a sunny day. I loved to bask in the rays. While my friends went to choose a new perfume, I decided to wait for them on the street on a bench. Suddenly, I felt a negative energy. It was coming fast, very fast. I turned my head and noticed that a man was driving at breakneck speed. He was very bad. I felt that he was not sober. And then I heard that a child was running out to the road. It was a girl of 4 years old. Her mother was talking to someone on the side of the road and did not notice how her daughter was running towards the road. The driver saw the child, but he was so drunk that he couldn't even think to stop. I ran to the side of the road, grabbed the child, and pulled him to myself. The car flew past and didn't stop. His mother screamed all over the street. My glasses fell to the ground, and so did my wand for the blind. I was holding the baby in my arms when my friends came out. all the people froze. The mother took the child and began to thank me, and only then realized that I was blind. I saw the frozen questions on people's faces. They were all scared and shocked. Their energy was telling. I couldn't explain anything, so I said I wanted to go home. My friends didn't say a word on the way. They just took me home, kissed me, and left. I had to tell my mother everything. She praised me for my bravery, but now there was a problem, because now I had witnesses. My girlfriends told everyone else, plus passers-by took everything on camera, so fame was assured the next morning. My parents had to pay a tidy sum to keep it in the local press. They wanted me to live a quiet life. About 6 months later, we decided to move to another city, and the story remained a legend. I had to cut all ties with my friends, and my parents also with their friends, because now we have a new life. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that we're running away from attention, but on the other hand, I'm thinking about how to use my gift correctly. After all, if I saved one life, maybe I can save another. What do you think?